Okay, so picture this. India is hosting the biggest AI summit on the planet. We're talking prime ministers, global tech CEOs, literally everyone who's anyone is there. But the star of the show? Well, it turns out to be a massive deception, a scandal that completely unravels in less than 24 hours. And it's all because of one little robotic dog.
And this slide, wow, it gets right to the heart of it. On one side, you've got the claim, this massive 350 crore rupee investment into a homegrown Indian AI ecosystem. And on the other side, the reality, a robot you can buy off the shelf from a Chinese company for just about 2.5 lakh rupees. That's around 2,800 bucks. This isn't just a gap, it's the recipe for a national embarrassment.
So yeah, that leads us to the big question we're going to unpack here. How on earth does something like this even happen? How do you take a simple, off-the-shelf robot and try to pass it off as your own amazing breakthrough at an event where the entire world is watching? To really get the scale of this whole thing, you first have to understand the stage it was all set on. This wasn't just some local tech fair. This was the India AI Impact Summit 2026, a very, very big deal. And just look at these numbers. We're talking about an event kicked off by the Prime Minister himself, with world leaders and the heads of places like OpenAI and Google walking around. This whole thing was designed to be a massive statement, showcasing India's arrival as a global AI superpower. The nation's credibility was literally on the line. And right at the center of all that glitz and glamour was our main character, a four-legged robot they called Orion. It was the main attraction at the Galgotias University booth, doing somersaults, moonwalking, drawing huge crowds, and of course, all the media attention.
And here it is. This is the first critical piece of the puzzle. This is what the university's spokesperson, a Professor Neha Singh, told the national media right on camera. The robot wasn't just being shown off at their booth. She claimed it was developed by their Center of Excellence. That's a very specific word, right? Developed.
And then, boom. In the very next breath, she connects this supposed innovation to that massive 350 crore rupee figure. So in just a few seconds, she created this direct line in everyone's mind between a huge investment and this cool robot doing tricks right in front of them. It was a powerful illusion of homegrown, high-tech success. And you know what? At first, it totally worked. The story was a massive hit. India's public broadcaster, DD News, ran this glowing piece on it. The booth was absolutely buzzing. It even got a shout-out on social media from the Union IT minister. The lie wasn't just happening, it was being amplified at the highest levels.
But this is the 21st century, and that carefully built narrative, it was about to get completely torn apart by the internet in a matter of hours.
And this slide here, this is what Orion actually was. It's a Unitree Go2, a mass-produced robot made by a company in Hangzhou, China. You can go online right now and buy one for about $2,800. It's a cool gadget, sure, but it's more of an educational tool, not some groundbreaking research project.
So, within just hours of those news reports airing, people on social media who know their tech started putting two and two together. This post pretty much sums up the accusation perfectly. They just bought a cheap robot, slapped their name on it, and tried to pass it off as part of a multi-million-dollar AI initiative. The internet was not having it.
And very quickly, the mood online went from, hey, look at this, to just outrage. It wasn't about a university telling a fib anymore. It was about national pride. People felt like this whole stunt was making the entire country look ridiculous in front of the whole world. So with the story absolutely exploding online and the embarrassment piling up, the government was pretty much forced to act. And their response was incredibly fast and very, very public. I mean, this timeline is just stunning. Look at how fast this all went down. In the daytime, they're the darlings of the media. By that same evening, they're exposed online. By the very next morning, the summit organizers have ordered them out, cut their electricity, and literally put up barricades around their booth. They went from hero to zero in less than a day. And there was zero confusion coming from the officials. The CEO of the India AI mission, one of the key organizers of the whole summit, was blunt. He didn't pull any punches. He just said, they misled. That was it. Official confirmation that the government saw this as a deliberate lie.
Okay, so you're caught red-handed. The jig is up. You think they just apologize, right? Well, what came next was something else entirely, an attempt at damage control that just became a national punchline.
And this brings us to the now infamous quote from the university registrar. He said, "We didn't develop it, we worked on its development." This piece of verbal gymnastics was so absurd that it instantly became a meme. It's what people will remember about this whole scandal. And to make it all even worse, it came out later that the spokesperson, Professor Singh, she wasn't even an AI expert. She was from the communications department. Her defense? It was all just a misinterpretation. Yeah, that excuse felt about as believable as the original claim.
Now, it's easy to laugh at all this, but the fallout raised some really serious questions. This wasn't just about one silly robot. It was about credibility, accountability, and the incredible pressure of this global tech race.
This table really sums up all the key players in this whole drama. You've got the university folks making the claims and then defending them, the government officials calling them out, the media that just ran with the story without checking, and even political parties who tried to turn it into this huge national security issue.
And this is why it all matters so much. The real damage went way beyond just one empty booth. It took a hit at India's credibility on the world stage. It made people question media standards, and it showed there was a serious lack of vetting at a top-tier event. Basically, it turned what should have been a moment of national pride into a source of international jokes.
But the story doesn't quite end there. Here's the final and maybe most worrying twist. It looks like Galgotias University wasn't even the only one doing it. Reports started coming out that the exact same Chinese robot was being shown off under different names at other booths at the summit. This wasn't just one bad actor, it was pointing to a much bigger problem of faking innovation.
And so, this whole RoboDog affair leaves us with a really big question. In this super high-stakes global race to be #1 in artificial intelligence, every country is terrified of falling behind. But as this whole scandal shows, maybe the bigger danger isn't admitting that you're still playing catch-up, but the damage you do when you pretend you've already won.